Good evening, Hofstra fans. I'm Jason Weick, and welcome to Sports Beat. Tonight's episode will take us through baseball and softball here at Hofstra and around the world with the World Baseball Classic. We'll take an exclusive look at the prize trip to the CAA Men's Basketball Tournament and an in-studio interview with Marina and Isabella, Dazza, members of the Hofstra dance team. All that and more ahead, so don't go away, Hofstra fans, because Sports Beat starts right now. Here with me to talk about the World Baseball Classic is Jess Ross and Chris Rotondo. Baseball fans are rejoicing at the return of the World Baseball Classic. This year's contest is loaded with talent. I know it might be tough this early in the contest, but what teams are you liking to take home the title this year?
Well, Jason, my choice is personally dependent on the game that is going on as we speak in the Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico. I feel whichever team's going to come out of that game with the win has a serious chance to take home the title. Besides these two teams, I could see the United States taking the win for the World Baseball Classic just due to the fact that their entire 1 through 9 lineup is absolutely loaded. The likes of Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Kyle Schwarber, Nolan Arenado, this team has it all, except pitching.
You know, I'm going to have to go with the Dominican Republic on this one, obviously, depending on the outcome of tonight's game against Puerto Rico. But they just have such a stacked lineup with star after star. Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Manny Machado. The list genuinely just really goes on. And, you know, after their win tonight, I just think overall, if they do win tonight, of course, I would say overall they just have such a stacked team and they really do have a chance at the title.
So we talked about favorites. Let's talk about the teams that go under the radar, perhaps the teams we didn't think would make a run that at least right now are looking to be kind of dangerous. Who are the dark horse teams that you're both liking in this tournament?
Well, I would love to call them a dark horse, but they've obviously proved themselves sitting 4-0 in the pool that does contain the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Venezuela, without a doubt, my dark horse for this tournament. After already clinching their playoff spot, this team has been rolling. They were so overlooked the entire tournament, very much a sleeper pick. Players like Pablo Lopez, lights out on the dish, Gleyber Torres, Eduardo Escobar, Jose Altuve, and Andres Jimenez to populate their infield. This team is looking to do damage and surprise some people.
You know, I'm going to go with Mexico. And as you know, they aren't really seen as such an underdog as they just came off of that big win against the U.S. and last night's victory over Great Britain. You know, they just really are a little overlooked when you're looking at teams such as the U.S., Japan, and the D.R. I would say they do have such great pitching, though. When you have guys like Julio Urias, who has just come off one of the best seasons with the Dodgers, with a 2.16 ERA. He was a 17-7 record last year. And then when you have guys at the plate such as Randy Arozarena, you know, really showing up for Mexico, raking in the runs, along with Meneses, who just came out of a 2 home run game. You know, I just think that Mexico really does have a shot at this.
So let's take a look at the mound. What pitcher do you think in this tournament has the possibility to be the best?
Well, I feel this is a very obvious answer. I am going to go with Japan's Shohei Ohtani. He's in a very weak bracket, and he's a fantastic pitcher. He's proved himself time and time again on the MLB circuit, pitching a 2.33 ERA last season. And yeah, he's going to shove on the dish every game because nobody's going to touch what he's throwing.
I'm going to have to agree. You know, Shohei Ohtani, you can't really top him. You know, the other day he was already named Pool B's MVP. Again, it is a weaker pool, but against China the other day he threw 4 straight shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. Along with that, I feel like we can't go over the fact of Nicaragua's pitcher, Duque Hebert, who just against the Dominican Republic, you know, it was a loss for Nicaragua, but he just then signed with the Detroit Tigers right after striking out stars such as Julio Rodriguez, Rafael Devers, and Juan Soto. So, you know, obviously Shohei Ohtani, definitely the best pitcher out now, but I feel like we can't go off, you know, the smaller pitchers right there.
As the tournament currently stands, who are we liking for the MVP?
Well, depending on how far this Dominican Republic team does progress, I think it could either be one of 2 players. One being Juan Soto, but 2, the one that I have a little more passion behind, is Manny Machado. hitting 2 home runs in the past 2 games. I think if this Dominican team does progress, Manny Machado is going to go on an insane hot streak and can put up an MVP-worthy resume for the Dominican Republic.
I'm going to have to agree there with Machado. He has just genuinely been hit after hit, and with the home runs, a bunch of base hits, it's just been great for him. And I just genuinely think that Machado will be the one to, if the Dominican Republic goes on, will be the one to get the MVP.
March is the time they call March Madness, and that's in basketball. But talking about this tournament, there has been some madness. What is the biggest upset so far that you were not expecting?
Well, I wouldn't even refer to this as an upset, but more of something that we will never see again. Puerto Rico playing against Israel pitched a perfect game, but there is a 10-run mercy rule in the World Baseball Classic, so Puerto Rico did end up walking off the game, but ending with a perfect game as well. It's the first perfect game in World Baseball Classic history, and it's just, again, something that we will likely never see again, at least in our lifetimes.
And I'm going to have to go with the Mexico-U.S. game. No one really saw that coming. I said earlier Mexico is a strong team, but they came up with an 11-5 victory over U.S., which is why I feel like Mexico definitely can't go overlooked. So I'm going to have to say that.
It's been a fun tournament, and I'm sure it will only continue to be fun. Now, again, we're going to start to transition now into our next addition to this episode, which we are looking at the World Baseball Classic beginning this past weekend, but the MLS season, which is just underway. And here to talk all things soccer is Gabriel Harper.
Hey Sports Beats fans, I'm Gabriel Harper, and welcome to your MLS update. Major League Soccer season has just begun, and this season is shaping up to be a great one, so let's dive right in. LAFC are defending champions, and they've gotten their campaign off to a strong start, winning their first 2 games of the season, sitting second in the Western Conference. Sticking with the West, there's a new team in town with the expansion side, St. Louis FC. They have won all 3 games they've played so far and sit atop of the Western Conference. They are the second expansion team to start the season with 3 wins in MLS history. The wins haven't come easy, though, as they've had to rally from behind to get all 3 victories. They are the first team with 3 consecutive come-from-behind wins since 2015. In the Eastern Conference, only 1 point separates the top 6 teams. At the top sit Atlanta United, Nashville SC, and Cincinnati FC with 7 points each. The defending Eastern Conference champion, Philadelphia Union, kept their entire starting 11 intact this offseason and are preseason favorites to repeat. They sit on 6 points through 3 games. New York's 2 clubs aren't having the best start to the year, as New York City FC and New York Red Bulls sit 10th and 12th in the conference respectively. New York City FC are struggling to deal with the offseason losses of goalkeeper Sean Johnson and midfielder Maxi Morales, while the Red Bulls only have 2 points through 3 games. Thankfully, for New York soccer fans, there are plenty of games left in the season for them to turn it around. With your MLS update, I'm Gabriel Harper.
Can I help you?
I'd like 1 ticket to Thursday Night Live, please.
Don't you mean Saturday Night Live?
No. Thursday Night Live. Live from Studio A. It's Thursday night.
I think you must be confused. It's live from New York. It's Saturday night.
You're telling me you've never heard of TNO classics such as Can't Poke Me Daddy, Kitties on the Street, Robloxia, and frickin' Halloweener?
Robloxia? I don't know her. And that last one you said kind of sounds a little bit dirty. Are you sure you can do that on broadcast TV?
Well, has Saturday Night Live ever won an Emmy?
We've won 86. So, you want tickets to Saturday Night Live or not?
No, but I'll take one to Thursday Night Live.
Welcome back, Sports Beat fans. Here with me to talk Hofstra Baseball and Softball is Michael Palumbo and Jack Lydon. So the CAA has seen some new faces added to the competition. What teams in baseball and softball pose the biggest threat to the CAA?
Well, Jason, I don't see a lot of new good competition in baseball, so I look to softball and I look across the island to the Stony Brook Seawolves. 31-16 record in their final year in the America East Conference last year. They finished first in their conference. They are going to be a big test for the Pride, and they get that test right away this weekend as Adrian Clark's bunch is going to be going Cross Island to face the Seawolves.
On the baseball side, I'm going to go with Stony Brook too. I mean, they come in at the bottom of the conference, but Hofstra just above them, second to last. I mean, it's a Long Island rivalry. Stony Brook has had some tough competition and has been able to compete, not really pulling through, but competing with them. And they're here, they're new, they're hungry, ready to show the CAA that they can compete.
So we talked about the newcomers, but let's talk about the rest of the conference. In CAA baseball, who poses the biggest threat to the Hofstra Pride as they try to repeat this year?
Yeah, for me, is the Northeastern Huskies, who Hofstra actually beat to claim the CAA crown back last May. Disappointing kind of start to the disappointing end of the season, I should say. They were picked to finish fourth in the CAA this year, and they have a guy named Mike Sirota who is not playing up to his potential. He led the team in average last year. He's not really living up to the standard so far this year. So if he can get hot, watch out, because this team is 10-2 already without him. So if he can get hot, watch out for the Huskies down the stretch.
I'm going to go with the current #1 team right now, and that's Charleston. Preseason favorites, regular season champs last season, and they've hit the ground running this year. Most wins, and they have impressive wins over Virginia Tech and Michigan State. And they have the preseason player of the year, William Privet, who's absolutely been shoving on the mound for Charleston. Sub-2 ERA and 20 strikeouts. Charleston is a juggernaut in the CAA right now.
Let's take a look at those Hofstra Pride. In baseball, it's almost a given that Brian Morrell is going to show up this year. But who else on the team needs to have a good season if the Pride want to try to repeat?
Yeah, I look at Will Kennedy in the lineup with Brian Morrell. I mean, this guy can get on base like you read about. He gets on base nearly half the time that he's up to bat. He's towards the top of the of Hofstra in both RBIs, batting average. Almost every offensive stat you can find, this guy has been consistently towards the top. So for Frank Catalanato to have that guy kind of be with Brian Morrell in the lineup is going to be really, really key down the stretch for the Pride.
Right now, the pitching staff has kind of not really shown out for the Hofstra Pride, and more specifically, Brad Camarda. He was a guy who was on that CAA championship team last year and was named the tournament's most valuable player. And coming into this, he was a first-team selection, and he hasn't made it through a fourth-inning game, the fourth inning of a game, and he's used to going deep into games. And he's even had a complete game last season, and he's just been letting up runs, and he really needs to settle down, really work on it, because Hofstra needs another starter that they can really rely on to go deep into games.
The softball team has seen some new additions in this offseason. Who do you think will have the biggest season for the Pride?
Yeah, I look at the backstop of the Hofstra Pride, and I look at Becca Valancourt. I mean, we talk about the catcher for the Hofstra Pride last year, and Devin Losco. She was a veteran player, really seasoned in year one for Adrian Clark. She loses that, but what a virtue it is to be able to get Becca Valancourt, a junior. She played last year at UMass Lowell and led the team with a .310 batting average. She has been tremendous out of the gate for Hofstra this year, and Coach Adrian Clark has to be impressed and has to be very, very happy with how she's addressed the catching spot this year.
I'm right there with you, Jack. Becca Valancourt, great addition to this Hofstra softball team. I mean, behind the plate as a catcher position, she can basically do no wrong. Just really, really solid back there. And when it comes to batting, she's third on the team in batting and on base percentage. And caught fire, really, against Boston College, which was their last series, with a double and tallying 2 RBIs for her.
You could say it's all aboard the Valancourt Express, as you know, both of us are liking them. So let me ask this, both teams in the preseason, they were predicted to finish third in the conference respectively. So with both of these teams, are they both going to win the conference? Maybe which one do you like better? What teams are we liking this year?
Well, I think in any sport, Jason, it's really hard to repeat as champions. Hofstra Baseball, of course, winning the Colonial Athletic Association a year ago. So I look at the softball team. players like Chelsea Manto and Casey Collins, this is the time for Adrian Clark to shine. They also have a very young, but at the same time, talented pitching staff. So this is a team that I can really see making a deep run in the CAA tournament, and let's not forget that CAA tournament will be played in the friendly confines of Bill Edwards Stadium here at Hofstra.
I mean, the baseball team, while they've had their struggles, they've been there before. They know how to get it done. They've competed, and they've come out on top. So I say, why not do it again?
Well, let's see that season. Last week, the Hofstra Pride returned from the CAA tournament down in Washington, D.C., and fellow Hofstra student and Pep Band member Jon Calias takes you through this weekend with him.
Hey, what's up, Sports Beat fans? My name is Jon Calias. I'm with the Hofstra Pep Band and with Sports Beat. And you know, we are on the way to Washington, D.C. for the CAA championship. Men's basketball going crazy. So excited. Stick around. Yeah, hey, what's up, Sports Beat fans? We're getting crazy out here. Yes, sir. What's up, Sports Beat fans? We at the CAA tournament right now. We're welcoming up. What a feeling, right? We're welcoming our boys. It's gonna be a good day. Kenny, first word that comes to mind.
Let's go.
Beat him up!
All right, we're going into the second half right now. Score is currently 51-14. I'm not going to say anything. We don't jinx things around here.
Actually, as a little stat, this is the largest halftime lead in all of the CAA tournament history.
Really?
So yeah.
Are you kidding me? Did you hear this?
Listen, facts is facts.
I wanna know if you'll be my girl. Hydration check, hydration check.
What did you break?
Defense, defense. Hofstra is our team, let's go. You know we rep that blue and gold. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hofstra. Let's go. I love that thing. First thought after the victory. Easy dub. Easy dub, crazy.
We didn't lose.
Okay, crazy. It's beautiful. Yes, sir. Any thoughts for Sports Beat? Welcome.
Game 1 in the books. Hofstra victors. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. What are we gonna do?
We're
Oh,
on.
we should do game 2. That'd be a good idea.
Listen, maybe?
Maybe,
No?
possibly. What's your favorite part of the game? That's a good one! Yeah! What's up, Sports Beat fans? We're gearing up for the second game of the CAA tournament. In just a little bit, we're going to be the semifinals. You don't want to miss this. Can try having the time of your life. What's up, Sports Beat fans? We're going CAA semifinals. We're walking in right now. Sean, any comments? Thanks, Sean.
Fantastic game. Hofstra with a chance to move to their 3rd championship game in 5 years. Don't miss it.
They are playing basketball. What's up, Sports Beat fans? We're here at the semifinals for the CAA Men's Basketball Tournament, and I'm so excited to cheer on the Hofstra Pride. Let's go!
Yes, sir!
Hawks go, or something about Hawks and going, but they should go back to UNCW.
Oh! Hey, the Hawks! Defense! 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 All right, what's up, Sports Beat fans? All right, what we just witnessed.
Score in overtime. UNCW 79, Hofstra 73.
What's up, Sports Beat fans? I'm Nicholas Calvello-Macchia, joined by Marina and Isabella Dazza to discuss Hofstra's dance team representing USA and their upcoming competition. So, how are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Well, first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about POM and the dance team for people who may not be so familiar with the sport?
Yeah, so the dance team here, we compete in many styles. We practice in a lot of styles, but one of our go-to ones is POM. It's one of those styles where we can really incorporate all of those technical skills that we work on. We've been trained for all of our lives, but now we get to incorporate some of our athleticism within the motions that we do and all of the different things we do with POM. It's one of our favorite ones to do, and we have a few national championships in the POM division, so now that we're going down for Worlds in the POM division is so huge for us.
And how does it feel for each of you to represent the USA in this competition? I mean, I know you guys have to stay motivated. So can you just describe the feelings of representing Hofstra on an international stage?
Yes. So the feeling is incredible, being able to, as the Hofstra Pride, represent the United States as the U.S. national POM team. This is a huge goal of ours on Hofstra since the last time we went to ICU Worlds was in 2016, so it's been a big goal of ours, and our mindset has always been never stop, always go for those goals, always try your hardest. So it's a great feeling when all that hard work pays off, being able to go to ICU Worlds to represent the United States again.
And with the ICU World competitions on its way, it must have a lot of, I guess, impact on you guys. Like, a lot must be going through your minds. And what do you think specifically is the most challenging factor that the team itself is going to have to face with these upcoming competitions?
A lot of things that people don't know about dancers is that there are so many different components and factors that go into it besides the physical. And one thing that our team really trains a lot on is our mindset. Our coaches prepare us all season long from the beginning to tackle those big goals like ICU Worlds. So when we had this come upon us, we knew that it would be hard, it would be a challenge, but we work on our mindset all the time, and that's what's going to get us through this big event that we're approaching at the end of April.
Would you say personally your mentality has affected you, or how have you been able to combat that going through this competition?
Yeah, so I think that we have such a strong mindset, and being able to practice that and prepare ourselves for the bigger goals in life. Being able to already have that mindset going into this and knowing what we're going to see in the future and what we can tackle is such a huge asset for us to be able to have the resources to help us through this.
To go off of that, I think we have so much excitement going to Worlds. It's a big opportunity and something we have to live up to, but our excitement really does override this opportunity now that we have this extended season and we get to continue competing under the United States now. It's such an honor.
And how has this journey been for both of you as a dancer? I mean, can you just tell us, how you got into dance, how young you were, and did you ever expect to be on a stage like this, let alone internationally?
Yeah, so we started dancing when we were about 3 years old at such like a young age, and then growing up it's kind of been something we stuck with, like we love it so much. So in high school we were able to dance and prepare ourselves for a college level dance team, which is such a huge practice for that. And one of like the big goals for almost all dancers is to make a college dance team. So knowing that Hofstra Pride has such a strong team and the reputation over the years is so well known, to being able to make a college dance team, especially Hofstra, has been such an honor. And being able to accomplish goals with the whole team to go to ICU Worlds has been such an honor.
And for our last question, what is the most valuable lesson that each of you have learned during this whole process?
I think I can speak for both of us when I say this, but a lot of hard work goes into any college dance team. But with ours, we really just dedicate so much time with it. No one tells you that the road's going to be easy if you want to get to the top and come home with many national titles and lots of different opportunities. You have to fall a few times. So I think that the road, it's up and down, but we get to the end of the road and it's just, there's awesome opportunities at the end that lie.
What about you, Isabella?
Yes, going off what Marina said, I think it is such an honor being able to have all these obstacles and almost rise above everything that's thrown your way has really prepared the team itself, and it's something that we value and learn from every day.
Well, thank you both for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
When we come back, we will hear from Amelia Bashy with your Pride Weekly Update, so don't go anywhere.
Hey you! Yeah, you!
Have you ever wanted your work to be featured on live TV?
Then Director's Cut is the show for you.
But Katie, how do I apply?
It's easy. Just follow these 3 simple steps.
First, go to our Instagram at DirectorsCutHU. And while you're there, give us a follow.
Next, click the link in our bio.
Finally, select the guest submission form and send us your best work.
All submissions are welcome, from your 27s to your senior films.
Good morning.
The cereal's good. It's like we never leave here at Hofstra today.
Hey Sports Beat fans, I'm Amelia Bashy and welcome to this edition of the Pride Weekly Update. There's a lot of action going on around Hofstra, so let's get right into it. While the men's basketball team lost in the semifinals of the CAA tournament, the Pride took on the #1 seed Rutgers Scarlet Knights on Tuesday night in the first round of the NIT tournament. The Pride pulled off a massive 88-86 overtime win against Rutgers. Tyler Thomas hit the game winner for the Pride with 9.8 seconds left to secure the massive upset win. Back here on Long Island, the men's lacrosse team went head-to-head with the Syracuse Orange on Tuesday night. The Pride fell 16-8 to a Syracuse team receiving votes in the national rankings. Moving to the Diamond, Hofstra Baseball will open up their home conference schedule with a 3-game series against William & Mary started on Friday. The Pride dropped their first conference series against the Delaware Blue Hens this past weekend, losing 2 of 3 games. To the softball field. The Pride will square off against the Stony Brook Seawolves in the Battle of Long Island to open up conference play on Saturday. Casey Collins has led the Pride on the offensive side of the ball with 16 hits in 18 games. In the pitching circle, it's been senior Nikki Mullen leading the staff with a 2.44 ERA in 43 innings pitched. Now to the turf, where men's and women's lacrosse will be in action on Saturday. Women's lacrosse opens up their conference schedule down south in Williamsburg, Virginia, taking on William & Mary. The Pride are coming off a 9-8 loss to number 20 USC on Sunday. On the men's side, Seth Tierney and company will open up conference play at home against the Stags of Fairfield Saturday night under the lights. For more information on schedules, live streams, and more, visit GoHofstra.com.
That's all we have for you tonight, Hofstra fans. Special thanks to our panelists Jess Ross, Chris Rotondo, Mike Palumbo, and Jack Lydon. Thanks also to our reporters Amelia Bashy and Gabriel Harper. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at HofstraSB and tune in to our next episode April 12th. I'm Jason Weick. Have a great night and go Pride.